Welcome back to Usapang Bayan. Kasama pa rin natin ang ang Edukasyon, Congressman Salvador Belaro Jr. Rich.
Sir, yes. Sir, ang sabi po ng karamihan, ang edukasyon daw po ang greatest equalizer. Pero marami pa rin pong OSYs or out of school youth. Ano po ba yung efforts ng ang Edukasyon Party List para ma-address itong problema na to?
Doon sa unang niyo pong tanong, I agree with that. I think that is the greatest investment that a person could make. Kasi kung baga, kumpara mo sa bangko, deposit mo yung pera mo, ilang porsyento lang yun per annum, di ba? 6% to 8%. But if you invest in education, it's forever, it's eternal habang nabubuhay ka. So, and it could open doors, not only doors, but windows. Ang dami bang, kumbaga sa economics, forward linkages in varying directions if you invest in education. In the same way that we're calling the government to invest more in education. Because we believe that the Philippines, we Filipinos, ang ating asset primarily is human capital. We may lag in industrialization, in the commercial area, but we have very solid human capital. Yeah, yung mga workers in the world, maraming OFWs, dollar earner yan, because we have very good workers, service providers all over the world, even managers. So, yun po ang nating palakasin. And tama kayo doon, it's a great equalizer because, kumbaga, in olden times, sabi ni Marx, ano ba ang sources of income, di ba? Land, labor, capital. Ngayon, you can make do with labor as an income generator. Sabi nga nila, in the 21st century, the greatest wealth earner would be something between entrepreneurship and expertise or a combination thereof. So, yun po ang ano natin, dapat ang mindset natin, especially in a globalized world na masyado ng maraming factors ngayon sa mundo na because of knowledge, the power of knowledge, of information, yun po ang nating ma-maximize natin. Because we know the English language, we are very good at that as a people.
Yung thrust ng ating Duterte administration po ay really to eradicate drugs, no?
Mm-hmm.
May nakikita ho ba kayong role sa education para maisapatupad yung pangarap ng ating presidente na mawala yung drugs, the drug menace, no, sa ating bansa?
Malaki po, Sir George. Kasi meron po akong bill na final, yung integrating in the curriculum of junior high school, drug awareness and prevention. Because in our study, marami hong mga estudyante natin drug addicts. And it's a menace in society that we need to address. Yung mga parents din, kung drug addicts sila, how could they support their children if they are into drugs? And in general, ang sabi ho ng study ng Department of Interior and Local Government, more or less around 5% of the Philippine population are steeped into drugs. And that's very alarming. So kami po sa education sector, medyo alarm kami doon. So ito po ay isa talagang menace sa ating society. So we should start with education po siguro.
Palagay ko tama ho kayo dyan. Dahil kasi sa mga ibang bansa, yung karamihan ng mga criminal nila, ang reform na ginagawa sa kanila, either na imbis na pumasok sila sa bilangguan, ay magkaroon sila ng public service na ginagampanan or to take education, no? So maybe one of the things that you can consider is para ma-decongest rin yung ating mga bilangguan na alam naman natin na dyan ho nagsisimula yung parang imbis na ma-reform yung ating mga bilanggo, kuminsan lalo pang nadidiin sa kasamaan, ano? So siguro kung may mga yung mga lesser crimes, no, na pwedeng imbis na bilanggo sila, kailangan silang pumasok sa eskwelahan o mag-aral. Posible ho ba yung ganun ang papag-aralan nyo?
Yung mga inmates, sir?
Hindi ho. Kung halimbawa, kayo ho nahuli for a certain petty crime, imbis na ipasok kayo sa bilangguan na magiging pasanin pa kayo ng sistema ng ating penitentiary, no? Maari ho siguro sabihin na lang mag-public service ka or you go to school or something like that na para hindi makatulong ka or ma-reforma ka by going to school instead of going to prison.
Community service.
Either community service or
service.
a combination of that and education. Dahil kasi marami ho sa ating out-of-school youth, alam naman natin, dyan ho nagkakaproblema yung mga criminal elements, yung mga drugs, nagkakaproblema sa nakawan. So kung yan ho yung mga taong yan, eh, mapupunta sa eskwelahan para makapag-aral, para naman makapaghanap sila ng trabaho, palagay ko makakabawas yan ng malaki sa ating kriminalidad.
Sa pagkakaalam ko po, may mga ganong panukalang batas na gagawing alternative sa existing penalty system natin, yung community service. And ako po, I would personally support that kasi nga makakabawas yun sa budget ng mga kulungan natin.
Hindi lang ho community service, kung hindi kailangan ho silang pumasok sa eskwelahan. For example ho, hindi sila nakapagtapos ng high school, kailangan bumalik sila ng high school para matuto sila and become a better, a more qualified person so that they can look for jobs na maging productive sila sa society natin.
Meron po dun sa mga out-of-school youths, mga alternative learning systems, isa po iyan sa mga consider na mga na pwedeng sectors, yung mga handicap, persons with disability, indigenous communities, yung those have been out of school youth for so long, at pwede rin po yung mga galing sa mga rehabilitate.
Very good ho.
Sir, one of the major issues that has been highly debated upon ay yung condom distribution po ng Department of Health. But of course, it has been rejected and it goes back now to sex education. Paano po ba talaga makakatulong ang edukasyon para po ma-address yung teenage pregnancy?
We should put that in proper context. As it is, I believe that the program was well-intentioned. But the problem is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Ang position namin doon is that if it is to be implemented, it has to be implemented in such a way that there should be a lot of prudence with the participation of the guidance counselors and in a manner that it would not reflect on the morality of those who would like to avail of it or to avail of the free condoms in schools. So, ang pagkakaalam ko doon, before it was shelved, it was supposed to be a pilot thing, pero marami nga pong nag-oppose. Instead of curbing the problem, it should create an impression that instead we are encouraging the practice. So, pero sa amin po, palagay, kung ma-regulate lang po siya, just like what's happening in other countries, I think it's symptomatic of the times and there is nothing wrong much about it if it is highly regulated.
Yung isa hong nagiging problema sa ating education, na nabasa ko rin ho sa dyaryo, na kinukulang tayo ng mga guro, yung mga teachers. At the same time, nakikita ko rin ho, yung mga very well qualified na teachers natin, nag-iibang bansa, na kukuha, napapirate sila ng mga ibang bansa para magturo ng kung ano-ano mga subjects, whether it's English, mathematics, or whatever. Tapos yung iba naman hong mga nakapagtapos ng pagiging teaching or education, ay ang nangyayari ho, nada-downgrade sa mga kanilang ibang trabaho. Pero napakalaki nga ho ng sweldo, kaya pumapayag na rin sila. Ano ho ba sa mga panukala nyo ang posibleng maibsan ang ganitong problema natin na kinakaharap sa brain drain natin sa mga guro?
We have a number of bills pending right now in Congress which address to improve the welfare of teachers. Number one is we have a bill proposing to increase teacher salaries commensurate to the increase in inflation rate. That is one. We also would like to provide monetary benefits to them, like if you are a dependent of teachers, you should be given free scholarships in college. We also have a lot of bills this could be checked at the House website, House of Representatives website, yung mga iba-ibang benepisyo ng teachers like free clothing,
yes,
free vitamin C, free load. We even proposed the institution of a National Teachers Day when there could be a holiday kasi hindi lang naman po yan puro pera. Kailangan may ceremonial and emotional support din sa mga teachers natin because they are laden with so much. And then, we also have to understand their plight that yung teaching po kasi, hindi lang naman yun, kumbaga, di tulad sa ibang trabaho, you report 8 to 5, yun po, kalimitan ay umaalpas pa po doon sa 8 hours kasi you have to do your lesson plans, you have to prepare for class.
Mag-check pa ng mga papeles.
At
Yung
marami
mga-
pong tinatapa ho sila ng mga government agencies like COMELEC during elections, the barangay, the LGU. So, samot-sari po ang jobs ng mga teachers. So, kailangan po, bigyan natin sila ng non-monetary benefits also kung hindi man natin sila mabigyan ng monetary benefits kaagad-agad.
Congressman, isa po sa mga concerns ng mga magulang, particularly pagdating po sa education, ay yung bullying. Kasi may mga estudyante po talaga na mga biktima ng bullying. Like for example, yung pinsan ko po, ayaw niya na talagang pumasok sa school kasi may classmate daw siya na nang-aaway sa kanya for no reason at all. If not a bill or through legislative measure, ano po kaya yung reform na pwedeng gawin ng One Education Party List para ma-address po itong matter na to? Because I understand, sir, if you craft a bill and it becomes a law, syempre may penalties po dyan. Paano po kapag ang involved ay mga bata? Syempre parang it would be hard naman to impose a penalty on a child, di ba? Ano po ba yung reforma na pwede nyo pang gawin to address this matter?
Marami na pong batas na effective ngayon to address those concerns. One is the violence against women and children. Meron na po doong mga provisions on that. And I think that is covered by exploitation of children. We also have other laws covering that matter, even in the revised penal code. Ang tingin po namin dyan is that we really have to take care of the teachers in such a way that will be able to perform the role as second parent of the child. Because these kids are kids. If in the context of a grade school, these needs, they really require a lot of supervision. And the reality po is that kulang tayo sa teachers. So just like in our homes, it's natural for kids to behave like the way they do. And sometimes we have to admit as parents that they commit uncontrollable behavior.
Kailangan lang ng patnubay.
Yun po. That is why, ang isa nakita ko dyan is that we have to strengthen the profession of guidance counseling so that there could be more interaction with a superior, even in a school context. Another po, magagamit din natin yun, especially in the K-12 system ngayon. Kasi yung advising the students as to what track they would be going into. So, yun po siguro pwede nating ma-harness din yung mga guidance counselors.
Yung tungkol ho naman sa mga binabalak yung direksyon ng ating edukasyon. Dahil kasi importante rin malaman natin, ano ho ang binabalak nyong gawin para maging world-class ang ating edukasyon at ang ating mga kababayan ay magkaroon ng, kung sinasabi nilang ang degree mo ay ganito, qualified ka rin with the same degree in other countries. Meron ho ba tayong mga reciprocity programs na wini-work out with other countries na pag ikaw ho ay nakapag-graduate ng engineering sa Pilipinas, ay considered ka rin na parang engineer ka rin sa ibang bansa, particularly let's say sa ASEAN?
With all due respect, Sir George, ma'am, ang edukasyon kasi ay parang pagluluto. Marami siyang sangkap. What would be the appropriate educational system for us Filipinos which to address our needs as persons, as a family, and as a country? So we have to consider our factual milieu. Ano po ba ang kondisyon natin sa Pilipinas? It's a reality na medyo lagging behind talaga tayo with respect to our neighbors. So we have to work on that. But first of all, let's identify the problems. And let us identify our present situation right now. Ang tingin ko dyan, dapat nating viewpoint is kung nakakatugon ba ang edukasyon sa proper objective nito. Ano po ba ang objective ng education sa buhay natin? Bilang isang tao, bilang isang pamilya at isang bansa. Ito po ay para ma-improve ang ating buhay, personally and as a country, so that we could improve as a nation. So dapat po yun ang mindset natin. So, having that as a background, ano po ang dapat nating gawin? Ang pinaka-concrete manifestation po ng problema nito sa aking analysis is yung 600,000 graduates every day walang trabaho. That is indicative of all the problems in the educational system kasi para po siyang tanikala. Magkakadikit-dikit. Bakit mayroon tayong 600,000 graduates sa walang trabaho? Because they are unfit to supply the needs of the economy here and abroad. Bakit naman po nagkakaganon? Kasi yung ating educational system substandard. Bakit po substandard ang educational system natin? Kasi yung mga teachers natin, ang iba dyan, kulang sa knowledge, kulang sa reshaping of the required skills that they have to provide. Kulang po ang ating facilities,
Curriculum.
kulang ang ating budget, misfit ang ating curriculum, at yung mga estudyante po, hindi masyadong prepared to digest whatever is being downloaded in the schools. So ano po siya? It's like tanikala na magkakadikit po yan. So I'm sorry but I cannot give you just a one-liner.
Kailangan ho natin lutasin yung mga
Opo,
problemang
opo.
yan bago tayo makipaghalubilo sa mga ibang more progressive countries.
But with all due respect, Sir George, we can be realistic. We can address it one day at a time. Although dapat magkaroon tayo ng isang konkretong problema para ma-address ito.
Okay.
Let's start with the immediate need na kailangan ma-solve natin yung education gap.
Congressman, we're almost at the end of our program. Baka meron ho kayong gustong ipaabot sa ating mga tagapanood na message mula sa inyo sa Kongreso na sa mga inyong layunin. Ngayon ho yung pwedeng gawin ho yun.
Maraming salamat, Sir George. Ma'am, ganito po. Kami po you would like to believe that you were elected in Congress, in office, because of our advocacy, na ang tunay na pag-asa ay nasa edukasyon. Yun po ang aming motto sa party list. Because ang amin pong paniniwala, kaya mong baguhin ang buhay mo, ng sarili mo, ng pamilya mo, at ng bansa sa pamamagitan ng edukasyon. At ako naman po sa aking sarili, yun po ang naging motto ko sa buhay. Kasi from the son of a farmer and a teacher, I was able to transform myself into something better than where I came from. So yun po ang gusto ko sanang inspire sa mga kabataan natin, that there is hope in education. And wag po tayong mawala ng pag-asa. Kung may problema sa edukasyon, lutasin natin yon. Because eventually, education is still the greatest asset that you could acquire in life.
At yan po ang isang makabuluhang diskusyon kasama si isa ang edukasyon, ang edukasyon party list, Honorable Salvador B. Vilaro Jr.
Maaari niyo po kaming i-follow at i-like sa aming Facebook page, Usapang Bayan. Ako po si Rach Marquez.
At ako po si George Chua. Samahan niyo po kami sa mga susunod nating kabanata dito sa Usapang Bayan.